bottom here on your Sunday, and it is January 4th, 2026. And I don't know, I was supposed to get in here before now, but I'm still waiting on like package. But I was supposed to be in and out, and I was supposed to come in and talk with you guys before now. But honestly, there are so many things going on. I mean, everything from global, you know, global stuff, and to, I'm looking at some 2030 agenda uh, headlines. I'll tell you guys about that. It's actually the two pieces that I wanted to get into come from the New American. So what I'm going to start doing is actually I'm going to start covering multiple things, somewhat like I used to do, but of course with a lens that, a formative lens, of course. So I wanted to talk about there's a piece, there's an agenda 2030 in a small town, and that piece actually in small town USA, that piece actually comes from the New American. So you have that particular piece, and then you also have this whole situation. I was curious about the situation with the whole Nigeria strikes. It was, to me, it was a bit disturbing. It just, it had a the whole tone of it, and the alignment, or I should be saying the misalignment of it, was pretty disturbing. Hi, Derek C. Williams. Thank you so much for coming in. And you've already loved on the like button. I can't ask for more than that. Thank you for that. Thank you for loving on the like button already. Or if we have voyeurs in the background, it's all been done before. So Derek says, have you running, monitoring the chat, football, bourbon? Uh, there you go. Yeah, enjoy your time, because I think most of us, it's almost back to the, dare I say, it's almost back to the grind for the rest of us. So, so enjoy your time, whatever it is, enjoy it. But I appreciate it. So, I'm just, there's a lot of curiosity that I have about some of these global events. I was curious about the whole Nigeria thing. And the New American has a piece. The New American had a piece, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of that briefly here. They posed the question. It's entitled, "Did Trump's Nigeria strikes really curtail Christian persecution?" That particular piece, I was very curious about that. I just find that, Nigeria has a unique history with, on the global stage, even going back to COVID and to the humanitarian efforts. They rejected a lot of the humanitarian efforts at the time, and I know there was a lot of, I'm just wondering, that I don't know. I'm just very curious about the whole thing. So let me just thank you guys for coming in. Please make sure you guys, if you're coming in here, make sure you're loving on the like button. No spamming of the chat. And guys, also, this is not a grow stream. I don't really want to go over these things, but I guess in the earlier days of in the earlier days of YouTube, we used to have to address these kinds of things. But if you're new to the streets, don't spam the chat. It's not a grow stream. If you build it, they'll come. If you don't, it'll be, if it takes you more time to build, then that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Let me just scroll this down just a second. So Derek C. Williams, thank you so much for coming in, and always roll the strikes when you need to. Corey Cameron X9R. Hi, from Canada. Love Canada. Great place. Fantastic place. Beautiful country. Beautiful back country. You name it. Truth Hunter 5772. Oh gosh. No. So, yeah, I got you. Hey, the escapade is the excursion is done. The sabbatical is done. It's done. So yeah, hey, we're I'm picking up what you're putting down. We feel the pain around here, without a doubt. Hot peace or I hope hot peace. I don't know. 3889. If you guys want to support the channel, you can always love on the like button. If you really want to throw some caution to the wind, you can always share it out. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, I appreciate that so much. So yeah, so it's the global news. And there was a piece from The Economist. The Economist, I was talking about the graphics that they have. Now the graphic, it's almost like they do a prophetic, this particular time they have one of their editors wrote a piece, okay? But then they always do an actual graphic that to me is prophetic in the global aspect, okay? So they're actually, the particular graphic that I'm talking about, it shows global, to me it's like a global chaos. Things are in, disarray. That's what I see. Okay. So that's one thing that I see. And of course, it's almost like, to me, it's almost like a dual kind of thing. It's like, it looks like a globe, but then you have money floating all around the place. It also has the Patriot games all mixed up in it. They do I don't know who their graphic person is, but shout out to them, because that's another one of my hacks is graphic design. There's my confession. Graphic design. And so, I'm looking in it when I see it, but it's full of, but they have they've got a visionary graphic designer there. Even though it's a flat graphic, but it's fantastic because it's got a lot in it. And to me, if I could collect all of the Economist cover pages at the beginning of every year, it would be an eye-opening collection. It would be worth doing, because I think the graphics they're not only, to me, they're honestly, you can go back probably 10 years ago. You can probably go back to 2008 and see some of the things that were in the graphic on that particular one that have already that came true since 2008. So enough about that. I'll try to get you guys that, even if I have to just post it on the community post, you'll be able to see it for yourself. But yeah, so let's just keep going here. So it just looks like, okay, so this piece, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over this piece with you guys real quick. And this is on the whole Nigeria strike. So I know everybody's on the Venezuela situation, I know, but this piece, the piece on the Nigeria, hang on, a little bit delayed. So the piece on Nigeria, to me, just kind of hung out a little bit longer, but it just seems like, I don't know if this is a biblical revelation that we're witnessing, or it just seems like that there's a harnessing of all of resources. And then to me, that's where I think the aspect comes in. Like, what's the U.S. harnessing all of these resources for? I'm just saying, just asking questions, Also, there's more. TPUSA, I think, is back in the news under investigation. If you guys are watching the stream, if you could help out by just loving on the like button, that helps us. That helps out around here. It still matters. Like buttons still matter, just whatever you can. Okay. I appreciate it. Because right now, I mean, it seems like we've had a few people to come in and we've only got one of these to go with it. So just try to make it make sense, as they say. if you can pick up what I'm putting down here. So I may have to go to another screen here, because when one dinosaur goes down, you pick up with another one is what you do. Okay. So hang on one second. Hope you guys are doing well out there. And it is Sunday, January 4th. And for a lot of us, we got to get back into the work. We got to get back out there and work tomorrow. Or either we're working sometime this week, or a lot of people's time is time has come to a close, and realize. Thanks so much, Realize, for coming in. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for loving on the like button. Please love on the like button. We're available, okay? So this piece is not very long. I'm not going to give you guys all the quotes. I'm not going to give you all the quotes on the inside of there. That's what I'm not going to do. Okay. What I am going to do is hang on just one second here. All right. So, for instance, it says evidence increasingly, this is from the New American, by the way. Evidence increasingly suggests that the United States Christmas Day bombing of Nigeria did more to help the Nigerian government than it did to save Christians. Quote, tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians, end quote. President Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social as the attacks occurred. All right, so the next piece they go into before that, it says, while the president got the location of the strikes right, the rest of his assertions are dubious at best. Okay, and so it keeps going on. It says misguided missiles, for example. Few people in the know believe that northwestern Nigeria is a hotbed of Christian persecution. Now, according to that's from the New York Times report from Friday. All right, and they give a quote there. I'll probably put the link of this in the stream for you guys, so you guys can dig around and do your own due diligence as you want. Okay, so it talks about the Sokoto State. Quote, the Sokoto State, which was hit by more than 12 Tomahawk missiles Thursday night, is populated overwhelmingly by Muslims who bear the brunt of terrorist attacks there, according to analysts and groups that monitor conflict. Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka of Sokoto said recently that the area does, quote, not have a problem with persecution, end quote, of Christians. Okay, so that's the first piece that they quote there. All right, so we keep going. It says the former U.S. Special Envoy for the Sahel region of Africa, J. Peter Pham, told PBS NewsHour the strikes would have, quote, very limited impact on violence against Christians. And then it goes on, it says why Trump chose to attack the Sokoto State is quote, a mystery to me, end quote. Pham said, there are a couple of other places I would have picked to hit extremists in Nigeria. Similarly, former National Security Council Senior Director of African Affairs, Judd Devermont, told the Boston Globe the area where Trump struck is, quote, 90 to 95% Muslims and, quote, not the epicenter of extremist violence, end quote. All right, and so it's going on here saying that the most analysts agree that northeastern, not northwestern, Nigeria is the source of most Christian persecution in the country. Northwestern Nigeria is home to the Lakurawa, a dangerous but comparatively weak terrorist group. Meanwhile, powerful terrorist organizations such as Boko Haram and the Fulani militias operate in the northeastern section of the country. So hang on a second here. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm not sure some of the people that are here at the Pookie Monster. Okay, thank you so much. I'm not sure. Romeo Alpha. Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to keep going here. Where did I leave off here? Okay, so, quote, if the bomb had been dropped in the Sambisa forest in northeastern Nigeria, nobody would be surprised, end quote. Security analyst Kabir Adumu told the Times, quote, because everybody kind of knows that's one of the strongholds of the target group. Okay, end quote. So it goes on the persecution complex. So keep in mind, this comes from the New American. Hello at Still Me. Hope you guys are doing well out there. So it's Judd Saul, founder of Truth Nigeria, told the Daily Caller, quote, we just did the Nigerian government and the Fulani and Boko Haram a favor by going after Lakurawa. Now this is what is in this particular piece from the New American on, did you get where, you go, I mean, to me, is this really a question of intelligence or is this a question of destabilization? I think it, to me, I do think it is the latter, unfortunately. But I'm going to keep going here. So it says the website added, quote, Trump strikes weakened a terrorist group fighting with stronger organizations posing a greater threat to Christians in the region, according to Saul. The Truth Nigeria founder estimated that Lakurawa was responsible for roughly 5% of Christian killings in Nigeria, while Boko Haram and the Fulani ethnic militia account for 90 to 95% between them. He previously told a caller he estimated that the Fulani were responsible for 80% of the killings. Okay. Hang on just a second. I got you. Realize I'm going to come in here in just a second. Thank you so much for being here. In July, the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa reported that the Fulani's, quote, systematic campaign of violence has fundamentally altered the demographic landscape of Nigeria's middle belt. The data reveals that 2.4 Christians were killed for every Muslim during this period. I'm going to tell you guys something. I cannot stand that word unalived. I don't even think that. I think that is probably it's some kind of grammatical faux pas. It's got to be. It's the most awkward, the most, I don't know. It's up there. It's way up there. Way up there. So let's keep going. It says, people, quote, people who don't know what's going on in Nigeria will say, quote, the strike is a resounding success, end quote, said Saul. But if we are serious about dealing with persecuted Christians in Nigeria, you have to take out the Fulani and the Fulani infrastructure that is orchestrating the mass genocide against Christians. Let's see. Hi, Fred Chambers. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. We've got some, I don't know. It's worse than at this point. I think the the flying monkeys, it's worse than that. So I'm just going to keep going here. So I'm almost done here. This is not very long, but I just thought there were some interesting points in here, and it just raises my curiosity. Hello, Crenshaw Crypto. I'm not sure if you're new to the channel. I'm not sure if I've seen you here before, but I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. This is cooperation or co-optation. There is little question that the Nigerian government believes the attacks were to its benefit, observed the Times. Quote, even as the Nigerian authorities have disputed Mr. Trump's claims about a Christian, quote, genocide, end quote, they have chosen to respond to his threats by cooperating with his administration. Nigeria has taken the opportunity to use U.S. firepower against insurgents that have plagued rural communities in the country's northwest. Okay. All right. So we're going to finish this one up here. It says, Al-Qasem Abdul Qadir, a spokesman for Nigeria's foreign minister, told the paper that Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu personally approved the U.S. strikes and, quote, that Nigeria had provided American forces with intelligence for the airstrike. So that's the part that I find interesting, is that you've got these spores of, you've got plenty of spores of intelligence, but yet, if that's what your target is, that's not what you're getting to. I just find this is, it's ironic. Is it ironic or is it something else? You guys decide. Okay, so, we'll hold it out. You know what? We're pretty formative out here. So let's keep going. All right, so where was I? Okay, so the strikes were, quote, meant to deter further operations of bandits in that area, end quote. Abdul Qadir said, quote, air power is something that they can't fight against. He also, quote, said there were ongoing conversations with the U.S. authorities about possible further military action, end quote, wrote the Times. But can intelligence from a foreign government that disputes Trump's stated casus belli be trusted? Could Nigeria's government be aiming U.S. missiles at its own preferred targets rather than terrorists who threaten Christians? Quote, one has to be brutally honest here, end quote, said Pham. Quote, certain politicians in Nigeria have their own agendas and their own political alliances with extremists. Now that is interesting, and that's corrupt. It sounds, kind of corrupt in that tone. It's a very complex situation that doesn't lend itself to easy solutions. Saul cautioned against trusting the Nigerian military, claiming it's, quote, in cahoots with the Fulani terrorist, end quote. Truth or error? Even supposing that Lakurawa is a genuine threat to Christians, it's not clear that the strikes did any damage to the group. which according to the Times may or may not be associated with ISIS. At least some of the missiles landed in empty fields. Furthermore, villagers near one such site told CNN that their hamlet, quote, is not known for terrorist activity and that local Christians coexist peacefully with the Muslim majority, end quote. Trump may believe he wiped out terrorists who kill Christians. Facts and logic, however, indicate that he may be wrong. Worse still, he may be, as the Daily Caller put it, getting, quote, used, end quote, by Nigerian government for its own purposes. So that's a thick suit, I would say. And it makes me think, I mean, it just, to me, the plot, the global plot thickens. I mean, I just, what's in store for 2026 to me just seems like there's going to be more, it's going to be even more chaotic and dare I say corrupt than ever is that's what I submit. I'm pretty sure you guys have your own ideas, but I just think that there will be more escalation. Let's see. Let me back this up. Okay, let's see. Do we have any new people that have come in here? Excuse me, Romeo Alpha. What did you come here for? What did you come here for? I mean, this is not a 12-step meeting. What experience are you referring to? Have I been to Nigeria? No. Do I know people from Nigeria? Yes. I mean, what you got, but you're not running the roost. The roost will run you out if you can't get it together. Let me just keep going here. Okay, so yeah, that was the piece. That's kind of the whole global thing, but it also makes me want to pull out The Economist. And you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that piece in the community tab so that you guys can see it for yourself. You'll be able to see these, you'll see the graphics you'll see there's pharmacology images, like pills and stuff all over this graphic. There's all kinds of pieces. You can look in there for yourself. But there's a ton. And it's definitely got the world leaders in the middle, kind of disheveled in this whole mess. So yeah, you guys can make of it yourself. It's Gary Gage 104. Gary Gage. I'm so glad I didn't say gargoyle. I'm so glad I didn't say that. Thank you so much for coming in. But also, there's also a 2030 agenda which is being reported in a small town. Like the 15-minute cities are emerging in small towns. So let's look at that one really quickly. Well, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that situation for sure. So not to worry. So yeah, we have 2030 in the small town is another piece. This was very short. I think it might even be Arkansas, I believe. 2030 in a small town. Okay, here we go. This is called the Paragould. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this. Okay, according to this, the United Nations Agenda 2030 is becoming reality for cities and towns across the country. A recent example from small town Arkansas comes to us from a resident who writes, so this is, I don't know if anybody here is in that region right now. Let's see. Thank you, Fred Chambers, for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, somebody needs to calm down or check out. Gary Gage. Gargles. Yeah, that's it. That part. Oh gosh. Hi. Yeah, make sure you guys love on the like button. We're available, okay? So okay, it's this quote. Our city council has adopted a plan called Discover Paragould 2042. It's modeled after Rogers and Bentonville in Arkansas and Oxford, Mississippi, as well as several cities served by the Orion Group, a smart growth city planning company. The full plan for us can be found at https:// colon www.discoverparagould2042.com. Okay, so just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for, these kinds of things. Maybe you should check out what's going on with your council, your city council. It says the city of Paragould essentially wants to turn us into a big homeowners association where nobody owns a yard and everything is in walking distance, as in 15-minute cities. One businessman has called the plan, quote, regulations on steroids, end quote. But few people are paying attention, so this is going to happen. I'm actually about to move away so that I don't end up having to live in a townhouse and sharing a pocket park or courtyard with 20 other families. All right, so this is coming from the New American, by the way. Okay, so it says this is Blatant Agenda 2030 in action. Of its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, I refer to those around here as SDGs, the 11th aims to make, quote, human settlements. All right, remember that, guys. Human settlements, end quote, sustainable. This is code for 15-minute cities, a term introduced following the 2015 UN Climate Conference. The plan is to herd people into urban areas where everything they need is within a 15-minute walk or bicycle ride, and travel outside the, quote, district, end quote, will be restricted. Some cities are already transforming into these open-air prisons. Residents of Oxford, England, are required to obtain a permit to cross 6 major roads that demarcate the city's zone. Urban planners are also building these future detention centers from the ground up. An example is the LEAP project outside of Lebanon, Indiana, funded by the state in cooperation with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, which has offices in Germany, Japan, South Korea, China, Israel, Italy, and the UK. You guys, we talked about this before, about there were 36 cities that they had already chosen, 36 cities in the US for the, in their planning, for the planning of these cities. But I guess they're going to come into the rural area. They're going to get to the rural areas too, or they're going to try to, I guess, get it in here. History of the agenda. President Joe Biden boosted the 15-minute city agenda in 2021, only 6 days after his inauguration, issuing an executive order that called for conservation, i.e. government takeover, of, quote, at least 30% of our lands and waters by 2030 to quote, tackle the climate crisis. Keep in mind, that's a cultural motive. Okay, it's modern rhetoric here. This, quote, 30 by 30 initiative is part of the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, which aims to gobble up, quote, conserved, end quote, land for SDG 15, which favors, quote, green, end quote, over reliable energy and endangered species over livestock. This goal is already threatening farmland across the United States, with the eminent domain for boondoggles such as solar, wind, and carbon capture, all backed by hefty government subsidies. So that also makes me wonder about where do these data centers fit into? Where is that? I guess I need to look it up, because the 11th. What do they have? These tenets of the tenets of the Sustainable Development Goals. So 17 would be the human settlements. So I'm just still trying to figure out, where does the technology, where does the data center fit into that? I see Fred Chambers. Georgina Williams, 6938. Thank you so much for coming in. Augustine Ramon Ruckstuhl, whatever that is. I think you need to take a hike. Yeah, that'll probably be in your best interest. You better somebody take care of him before I do. Okay, so, and to the end of this, it says, but the plan has been in place for much longer. President George H.W. Bush signed the United States onto Agenda 21 at the 1992 Earth Summit. His successor, Bill Clinton, formed a council on sustainable development, naming J. Gary Lawrence as lead advisor. Lawrence explained, quote, the future of local Agenda 21 in the new millennium, end quote, in the September 1998 issue of the council's publication, The Millennium Papers. But he warned the name Local Agenda 21 in the United States would, quote, bring out many conspiracy fixated groups and individuals, end quote. His solution, quote, we call our processes something else, such as comprehensive planning, growth management, or smart growth. So you guys look out for those tunes. Look out for those, I guess, those buzzwords when it comes to this plan. Yeah, the chat is a little bit spread today. Nationwide infiltration. UN inspired comprehensive plans are now ubiquitous. New York City's, quote, One NYC 2050, end quote, Imagine Austin in Texas, quote, Our LA 2040 in California, and, quote, We Will Chicago, end quote, are just a few examples on the home front, while the, quote, the London plan, quote, Metro Vancouver 2040, quote, Plan Melbourne 2017 20 to 2050, and the Singapore's, quote, master plan reveal that no corner of the globe is left untouched. Okay, and for the last piece here, it says tentacles entwine small towns and rural areas too. Durango, Colorado's comprehensive plan is filled with telling catchphrases such as, quote, socioeconomic diversity, end quote, sustainable behavior, end quote, and the, quote, unsustainability of transportation based on single occupancy vehicles, end quote. Let's see. Sago County, New York even offers comprehensive plan samples and tools downloadable from its site. Look into what your local city council, here it comes, guys. Look into what your local city council or county commission has adopted, and you will probably find similar fingerprints, such as those in Paragould, Arkansas. It's just as likely that your local representatives are innocently unaware of the internationalist origins, so plan to collaborate rather than confront them to free your community of these globalist traps. So I don't know if you guys are doing any, if you're, I don't want to say political, or if you're invested in any type of citizens actions, or if you're aware of what's going on. I don't know. I guess it's not the worst thing to kind of look in and see if you see any of this in your neighborhood, even if it's within a certain radius of you. If you can get, if you can find out what's going on. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to poke around and see what, I'm probably going to poke around and see what's going on with the language. Language matters around here. Social economic diversity, sustainable behavior, unsustainability of transportation based on single occupancy vehicles. Like, you just look around and see if you can see any of that, okay, in your neck of the woods. I'm sure it'll be helpful, and you'll probably be glad that you did before it's all said and done. So once again, I appreciate you guys for coming on, and I am going to put that graphic out, and then maybe sometime this week I can go over those 10 things that The Economist is warning of, at least it's just insightful, guys. Most of these things will emerge on their own. Don't spin your head off. Don't go crazy. It'll develop on its own. Okay. We're all about agency around here, because basically that's the most formative thing for you to do. And I appreciate you guys. Let's see who's still here. Thank you guys for coming in and loving on the like button. Derek C. Williams, the prolific Derek C. Williams. Derek C. Williams, you were all dappered up. There you go. You were super dapper over there. There you go. Enjoy your time. Hey, you get to call it. You get to call it today. Whatever time you decide to wrap it up, do it. Do it for you. Corey Cameron, X9R. Thank you so much for coming in. Truth Hunter 5772. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's see. Hot Piece 3889. Realize. Thank you so much for coming in. And let's see who else. Still Me 777. Woo. 777. Oh wow. I don't know. I'm in aviation mode right about now. 777. 777. Shout out to you. Realize, I appreciate you so much. Yeah, roll these trolls, guys. Roll them. Derek C. Williams O-04M says freedom of expression is good. Add it with respect to the presenter. Thank you so much, guys. Crenshaw Crypto. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming in. And yeah, for everybody for loving on Gary Gage 104. And I'm so glad I did not call you Gargoyle. It's like it's like the order you get. It's like, okay, I'm wearing corrective lenses, but I still I didn't understand that when I was younger. I didn't understand, like, what in the world are they talking about? Like, oh, I'm wearing corrective lenses, but I still can't. I still can't see. So yeah, I appreciate it, Gary Gage. Yeah, you guys do what you need to do. I mean, I'm just Joe Patton N6B. You were most generous. Thank you. I appreciate it. Kimone 88. Thank you so much for tuning in. Georgina Williams 6938. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Sustain. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm gonna keep an eye on this, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start poking around and looking into some of this stuff. Like what are they? What if they've got a name for your town? You know, those cities that I named, they were part of the 36 cities. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You know, like we get a lot of. It's worse than flying monkeys at this point. They're not flying monkeys anymore. They're not. But yeah, we're gonna look into it and see. Let's just find out. It's the what piece? It's the 17th Sustainable Development Goal. That's the one. It's the 11th. The 11th one aims for the human settlements to be sustainable. So the 11th. Look for that. I'm gonna do some poking around myself. Yes, don't think you're exempt or you're in the middle of nowhere, because I think they're turning over every rock is what they're gonna do. But I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you guys are off to a great start of your I guess this is going to be the first full week in 2026 for those of you that are that have had a celebration into 2026. I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you guys once again for loving on the like button, and I may see you guys in the morning and see what's happening, but I am going to be keeping an eye on the global news, and I'll be bringing you more on, of course, from the Economist graphic, as well as we'll keep an eye on the sustainable goals, as well as the 11th one from the 17th, the 11th of the 17th. All right, thank you so much, Gary Gage. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm gonna go and have my last, dare I say, is it a last hurrah before it's time to go back to the grind. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and you guys have a great start to your week. Bye for now. Let's see. Wait. Realize says a new Economist dropped, or the one with the rough guide to hell from. Yes, that's the one. The rough guide to hell. That 12. Oh my gosh, was it Mr. Pearson broke that thing down? I mean, I don't, I'm just going to say, I don't speak to anybody's method. But, I think, certain people they have gifts for what they do, and whether it's compelling or if it's just interesting, it's still, you don't turn away right away. So I appreciate you guys. So yeah, that's an interesting one. And I mean, that one actually is probably, we're dealing with some of that right now. Realize, I think, in all honesty, if anybody's got that rough guide to hell, from 12, it's probably worth holding on to it. I could probably go on to eBay and probably buy a copy of it. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. And unless I come up with something else, or unless I just get some, gumption to do that Economist outlook for 2026, it would be in a moonlighting stream. So might want to be on the lookout for occasional moonlighting streams with Black Spring. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys later for sure. Bye for now.